When it comes to Chinese car brands, BYD is definitely a familiar name. In 2024, the EU officially imposed a tariff of up to about 30% on BYD. This policy directly slowed down BYD's expansion in the European market, and many people therefore believe that Chinese cars might completely lose the European market. But what is unexpected is that even in the face of such high tariffs, BYD still received a large purchase order of 100,000 vehicles from SIXT, the largest taxi company in Europe. At the first time, the two parties also announced that they would jointly develop BYD's self-driving cars in the future and plan to deploy these vehicles on the SIXT platform. Interestingly, when the news of their cooperation came out, some media asked SIXT, why choose Chinese cars when the EU has imposed such high tariffs? SIXT's response was very direct. Even with the 30% tariff, BYD is still our best choice. So, next, I will take you to understand why Chinese cars are still ordered under high tariffs. If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. I believe everyone should have heard that in 2024, the EU launched an anti-dumping investigation against China's new energy vehicle industry, accusing the country of unfair competition for exporting new energy vehicles at low prices, disrupting the European market order. Immediately afterwards, the EU also imposed anti-subsidy duties on Chinese new energy vehicles. It is understood that the final tariff rate is as follows. BYD was levied 17%, Geely 18.8%, SAIC Group as high as 35.3%, other cooperative enterprises were 20.7%, and those without cooperation were all calculated according to the highest 35.3%. Add to that the 10% tariff imposed by the EU itself on imported cars. And it is calculated that if Chinese electric vehicles want to enter the European market, they may be subject to a maximum tariff of 45.3%. In this case, China's new energy vehicle companies have also begun to readjust their strategies in order to reduce losses. It is understood that two Chinese battery giants have announced the suspension of the construction of factories in Europe, and some automobile companies have also stopped investment projects in Italy, France, and Germany. Then, Chinese companies turned their attention to the Southeast Asian market. For example, BYD took the lead in announcing in 2024 that it would establish production bases in Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and other countries. Other brands followed suit and announced their own Southeast Asian factory plans. Judging from this information, many people initially thought that Chinese new energy vehicle companies may have completely given up their share of the European market. But surprisingly, even under high tariffs, a European car company suddenly announced an order for 100,000 Chinese new energy vehicles. Later, some experts analyzed that this may just be the beginning, and there will be more and more such orders in the future. So, what exactly happened? In fact, this happened at the end of 2024 when SIXT, Europe's largest travel company, announced a plan to purchase 100,000 BYD cars at one time. According to the agreement signed by the two parties, SIXT will purchase at least 100,000 new energy vehicles from BYD in the next 6 years, including the latest Yuan Plus currently launched in the European market. The cooperation will initially be launched in Europe and Latin America, and will then gradually expand to markets such as the Middle East, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. In addition, the two companies will jointly develop self-driving cars based on BYD technology and plan to deploy these vehicles on SIXT travel platform. SIXT also revealed that their goal is to increase the proportion of its electric vehicles to 70% to 90% by 2030. According to public information, SIXT is a global car rental and travel company with institutions in more than 100 countries around the world to promote rental services. Their network coverage is quite wide, with a total of more than 2,100 business outlets. Maybe there is a SIXT store in your city. As far as I know, SIXT customers are mainly companies, individuals and business people, and they provide high-end rental services. At present, SIXT has at least 180,000 vehicles, which can meet various needs and provide a wide range of choices from compact cars, mid-size cars to luxury cars. It is worth noting that as the largest on-demand travel and delivery platform in Europe, SIXT is fully capable of promoting autonomous driving technology to users around the world. In fact, as early as 2015, SIXT had decided to bet heavily on autonomous driving. At that time, they recruited about 40 R&D personnel, introduced scientists from the National Robotics Engineering Center of the United States, and later acquired an autonomous driving truck company. However, things were not smooth sailing. In 2018, SIXT autonomous driving project had an accident that shocked the world's first fatal incident of an autonomous driving vehicle. This incident caused SIXT to fall directly from the top of the industry to the bottom, and also forced them to suspend their autonomous driving research and development plans. Despite this, SIXT has never really given up on its layout for autonomous driving. In their view, the current market atmosphere and technical level of autonomous taxis are completely different from those in 2020. Especially since the beginning of this year, whether it is Waymo, Cruise, or Tesla, they have made substantial breakthroughs in the field of autonomous driving. Especially Tesla has announced plans to launch its own fleet of autonomous taxis. For SIXT, which has a huge online car-hailing market, they are naturally unwilling to miss the huge opportunity of this future market. Therefore, in the new round of layout, SIXT finally chose BYD as their fleet partner. It is worth mentioning that on the day BYD and SIXT signed a contract, Tesla subsequently issued a very targeted statement. BYD must change its technical route as soon as possible, otherwise it will face danger. It is not difficult to see from this sentence that Tesla has clearly felt the pressure and threat from BYD. Not only that, some media have questioned whether SIXT is worried that the EU's increased tariffs will lead to a significant increase in the company's procurement costs. Surprisingly, SIXT's response was unhesitating and quite firm. Even with the 30% tariff, BYD is still the best choice. So, is this really the case? According to my research, a model of BYD, a Chinese electric car manufacturer, was priced at about $12,000 before the new European tariffs were implemented. But as the new tariffs took effect, the price rose to about $23,000. Even so, BYD's price is still more affordable than Tesla. Data shows that the starting price of Tesla's Model 3 entry-level model is usually above $30,000, and the price gap between the two is still obvious. Looking back a few years ago, the pattern of the global new energy vehicle market can be summarized in one sentence. There are only two types of cars, Tesla and others. But now, this competition has become three: Tesla, BYD, and others. To some extent, with comparable technical levels, BYD still has a significant price advantage over Tesla. More importantly, BYD's rise is not just a simple grab of market share, but also to some extent changes the ecology of the new energy vehicle industry. It is worth noting that the cooperation between BYD and SIXT is actually sending a clear signal to European countries. Even with high tariffs, European consumers can still choose Chinese cars. According to statistics from some media, a survey of more than 2,000 European consumers showed that their attitudes towards Chinese cars showed a clear split. The survey results showed that about 27% of Europeans said they could imagine buying Chinese cars. 33% clearly stated that they would not consider it, and another 25% had a very negative attitude. Among the youngest buyers aged 18 to 24, the acceptance of new brands from Far Eastern countries such as China is significantly higher. 38% of respondents in this age group are willing to consider buying Chinese brands. In the oldest group, over 55 years old, this proportion dropped to 24%. This set of data illustrates a key point. The potential market share of Chinese cars in Europe is still huge, especially among young consumers. This group of people is more receptive to new technologies and new brands. and is also more sensitive to prices, which happens to be a major advantage of Chinese cars. In fact, as early as October 2022, BYD had signed a cooperation agreement with German car rental company SIXT. At that time, the two parties agreed that SIXT would purchase at least 100,000 new energy vehicles from BYD. You know, as the country that invented the car, Germany's automobile industry has always been in a leading position in the world. Over the past 100 years, Germany has been recognized as the center of the automotive industry in Europe and can be called a weather vane for the global automotive industry. As the largest car rental company in Germany and also the largest in Europe, SIXT abandoned German local car companies and chose BYD as a partner. This undoubtedly sent a strong signal. In the era of new energy vehicles, BYD has surpassed some German car companies at some levels, especially in the field of new energy, showing stronger market competitiveness. What is more noteworthy is that in July 2024, BYD won another large overseas order. This time, BYD and Uber, the world's largest travel platform, announced a major cooperation news at the same time. Uber will purchase 100,000 BYD cars at one time to meet the needs of online car-hailing drivers in markets, such as Europe and South America. Once the news was announced, it immediately triggered heated discussions on the internet. Many netizens pointed out that as an American company, Uber did not choose Tesla for this order, but chose BYD, which undoubtedly shows that BYD's products have been highly recognized worldwide. And it also means that Chinese auto brands have gradually established a foothold in the international market. According to information on Uber's official website, Uber plans to invest $800 million by 2025 to help hundreds of thousands of online car-hailing drivers switch to electric vehicles. This goal is obviously inseparable from the support of new energy vehicle companies like BYD. In addition, Uber has also proposed a more ambitious plan to achieve zero-emission travel in all cities in the United States, Canada, and Europe by 2030. This means that in the future, Chinese new energy vehicle brands such as BYD are likely to continue to be Uber's main partners. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.